Makes sense. Yeah, we're still working on our.
All right. Got a 22-minute countdown.
Awesome. We're still functioning independently. That's our finances are. Honestly, it's a. No words. But we're integrated. We're used to search as my great answer for you. Enterprise level. Yeah. Still function as a team. You're guys on the other team side. We're network. Feels it touches. You gotta have some seriously rigorous. Yeah, no, I get it. It's probably about. Yes. They're doing a whole. We have a bunch of rules. Whatever that's. But the worries about having they got these or software team are I was going to say it's not IT. And your database projections of it's safe to see it all. Never worked. It's interesting. But it's like they don't have a lot of inside of like they have structure. No, you could. But they still have organized structure. If I program somebody inside my company, it's not chaos. It's just, you know. Oh, yes, I saw that. Yeah, I'm leaving town that Wednesday. That's very interesting. So I can't. Seeing it all evolve. Go to New Orleans on Tuesday night. Yeah, this is how you do it. It's not. There's parts that are. We talking about there. I wish that I had. Yeah, right. Yeah. Totally understand. Yeah, our chief engineer was very easy to start.
All right, let's look at check the levels.
Yeah, I said that every single time.
Can you go light mode? See if that's a little easier to read.
So it's like a setting.
It's setting somewhere. Okay, that's a little better. And then hit Control Plus a couple times. Better. Oh yeah, I need to
They just gave away one.
perfect, that's what we're supposed to do.
Give that to someone that it makes. I'm still
Easy. Generally speaking. And I was very excited to come here.
This has got to be the best Domino's pizza we've had here in like a
We got there. Really? It's good.
It's like hot, fresh,
It's
it's not cold and stale. It's like the best Domino's ever. It's so good, I don't even want to eat some cookies. Yeah.
I got those Chips Ahoy because that's what they're saying. He's not eating those.
Yeah, what? Is he gonna ever show up?
I guess not.
And if it's strangers.
And then I got those other ones for my one. It's like our company runs on the budget.
Later, see on the other. Very sad. She has a son. Holy crap, look who.
How's it going?
Showed up out of nowhere. Let you don't show that.
That's true. Well, maybe. Oh, okay.
I know you said that. Thing that sticks. That isn't even my wife did. She's the best. She's my wife, she's the best.
Did you clean my wife? Properly? I have no idea.
Jeremy, just a nice. Must sponsor.
Hey, let's go.
No run, right?
That's what we gotta talk about tonight. Cause we can create green space if we take away some of the lunch space. Yeah, no.
That should be, I mean, we should have a limit.
Yeah.
You gotta have a limit, you know. It's not.
Right. If people can't stand to eat anymore, then what you know about that, you mentioned it. We can go.
People can't, they can't.
It is a free lunch if you're getting out there.
Yeah, it's a free lunch, I didn't say free change.
That's right. You can think of
I want to say something.
I've got somebody who's start adding subscriptions to any AI tool, and people are going to be very happy. I pay for Gemini, pretty sure, and I pay for.
But do they offer things?
I was paying for Skype until my HR person, that's not me.
So, my wife is a professor, or is an instructor at LSU, so I can help provide the resources like that.
I tried her get her account as well, get her, and now I have to get my profile for it. So, call it, so I actually started off with like very small. And in 2 weeks, we realized that it was worth paying for max. For max. I didn't go max 20, I'll make max 5, the $100.
That's what I heard a lot of people say.
It is worth the $100.
Look, they actually have, and the way that I look at it is the amount.
When they put up on the Eventbrite, in the picture, the thing, I was like, so what, we're gonna have an AI speaker tonight?
That's it.
I was like, it's gonna be all AI?
Completely.
No real person?
That's not been done.
He's real.
Right?
It's
It's
not
so
a
funny
fake picture.
because all of my pictures I do use for like promotion stuff is usually an AI picture, and this is the one that isn't.
but I got, I had
with the Max.
Copilot generate that thumbnail
Oh,
with your
yeah, yeah,
picture,
yeah.
so.
No, it
you
looks
might have-
nice, it looks nice.
Yeah.
You got it all going?
Yeah.
Videos are good? So what's the money to set all that up? Works really well. I didn't think it'd be that easy. Apparently it is. Cause
I
we
think
got
the label
time
everything.
and, time and money. Is that new vehicle?
Yeah. My, Frontier, my 20-year-old Frontier, I finally had enough. I changed all the parts I could change because it's still riding rough. And my wife has been wanting me to get a new truck for about 3 years. I said, fine, okay. After 3 years, I'll buy it. The problem was, the longer it went, the more I didn't want to do it. Because then it would just reinforce that she has to keep nagging me for so long to do something. No, oh my God, it's a 2025, so I got a good deal on it. All-Star Ford in Denham.
That's the one over here.
Yeah.
How long you work with Joe?
It's been a little while now, man. We're coming up on about a year and a half, getting close to 2 years.
That's a long time.
I know, it's
Isn't it? Oh, yeah, that seems short to me, man. It's about how long I last at one job.
Right, right.
I've been to 10 of them. 18 years.
That's the best way to get rid of it.
You're right about that. Every time I look at it, it's 4 months. Which is sad. I want to go back to the last company that let me go. I just want to say, I like this amount.
Yeah.
To do it.
You'd be surprised. Hiring budgets are completely different than retention budgets. So you can.
This company about 3 hours. They want to give me a salary plus possible.
Yeah.
And they did. It took a while, it took about a month and a half to get right through.
Tell me about the bonus too.
That's the deal.
Oh, you get the bonus as
So I've
well?
been there almost a year. And I got
And it just.
if you got a cert, you get an extra $50. So I did 2 certs. I the first 2 quarters. I got another $3,000 plus on top of it. Yeah, I was.
Stack up those
I
certs.
don't know. There's one coming up at the end of this month. I'm not worried. Probably got more than one. Tax bracket. They gave me another bonus. I'm like,
They
crap.
have that new AI SQL Server.
What's that?
They have that new AI SQL Server cert.
I almost took the beta.
Yeah.
They made you pay for it this time. They got full price, like $20, $30. So I said, I have to pay for it. I never took it. I never had time to study.
Yeah, they're doing Data Days is coming up in the middle of June, in about a week, and I think they're going to throw out a whole bunch of free services.
Yeah, they just did. So I the thing or two
Okay.
on the user group team side.
Yeah.
And so yeah, for you can get all the services.
Okay.
Here we wanted to be, not just for that one, you gotta take the AI skills. You gotta go take the AI skills first.
Yeah.
You gotta go through all the class.
Oh, that learn challenge?
Take a little test. You have to pass it. Go through the AI skills. Any of the other DP, whatever skills, everything is research. You don't get it right. You gotta go through the
Yeah, I've been doing those, fabric user surveys, where you do the studies, and they say, thanks for doing it, here's research.
But a lot of times, the guy I work with now, he's Mike, something, he's hosting a reactor. Dash 800.
Okay.
Something I just started doing, got the fabric.
Yeah.
Signed up to do it. I don't know, I didn't. I've got another. He's all excited, he's got it. And he picked up the he's talking to people in the community, and he's all sharp. Keep going.
Sorry. Yeah.
And DC. Ben, Leslie, Mike, Kevin, and Ford are doing talks. Leslie on that is the musical side. Her and another one.
So that they can replace.
So they do a Power BI I would say tough. What people have noticed in these conferences, on Thursday and Friday. And if it's good training, then yeah, go. I think it's free. So I tell them, hey, it's free training on Thursday and Friday.
I'd switch over.
They might say, hey, it's valid. But if you say, I'm going to go to 3 days on Saturday, you'll be like, okay, whatever. There's no valid in Tuesday. That's 4. So this, you're on those days, there's no valid. It makes a difference.
Yeah.
It's an interesting concept. Just as how it's all.
We'll take the time off.
Especially if it's come back with something. Trying to get back to some word.
I've done that more often.
I got, Tim and Mars agreed to, everybody who goes to Sickle Saturday can take off, leave at noon on Friday. Yeah.
Earlier than that.
Well, I gotta do all the pre-con stuff.
I'm already gone.
Yeah.
Must be getting a lot of big contracts.
Yeah. All the data centers. We're building all of them.
I was in the big building on DC that built that building. But it's epic around, Chicago Steel. What was it before that? Fortune 500. Whatever it was, a long time ago, they bought out like Chinese nuclear generators. So they stopped calling it, waiting for that to come back. I wonder if those guys might have some. That's about to take off.
We should be. It's,
You need power to crank up some nuclear plants.
it's safer than coal.
Some people can do it.
It's good for
Decades.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the fears around it is gonna go down.
That's not our.
The big
Especially
problem,
if the energy needs to go down.
I was reading the biggest problem with nuclear right now is that every factory, every power plant is a one-off. Like they're completely built from scratch, it's engineered from scratch, and designed from scratch. And it's not like, let's pick one off the shelf and build 800 of them.
Unless you get the ones out of the nuclear subs, the nuclear ships, those are massive.
Yeah.
Frankly, you can't touch the technology.
Yeah.
The commercial systems. It's a different ballgame. What time do we start?
2 minutes.
What are we giving away today? What are we giving away today?
Is that the last of what we have?
We're giving away either one.
Either one of those books.
There's nothing else we're giving
Oh,
away.
I have a JetBrains license.
JetBrains license.
JetBrains license.
Actually,
We
And
wanna
and you
use one.
volunteer 300 hours of consulting time.
Do,
From Jeremy.
are we using? Are we using some of the user group fund to do a gift card or something?
You want to, treasurer?
Oh, let's give away a pre-con. Let's give away a pre-con.
Freaking right?
Yeah.
Probably a pretty dry read,
Oh, yeah, you give away one of this.
Yeah.
You're doing that, right?
That's right.
Yeah, perfect.
Giving away a pre-con.
A pre-con discount,
Pre-con or a book.
$5 off.
I already know. But take that one, nobody else wants it. Yeah, it sounds right.
We already gave away the t-shirt.
Yeah, I don't think we have any of that anymore.
I'll take it if nobody else wants it.
This is the best part of my job where I just make Thomas do all the work.
I like that.
Yeah. But how good it is.
How do I work?
All right, we got 45 seconds
No, there it is, it does.
on my count now.
It's the final
We're getting efficient. Ignoring the tricks and everybody else's copy.
I was watching some video, like Facebook shows all these old heavy metal videos I used to watch like in the 90s. Thinking, oh, boy, is that 30 years ago?
It's hard to think about even like the 2000 and just 20 years ago.
It's already exists.
I don't even know what singularity. What is singularity?
The answer is 42.
Why don't you get some shirts to give away?
I think we're talking about the fast.
All right, you ready?
Let's do it.
Are you asking me to sponsor? Are you talking about the
Just trying to, yeah, you get a nice shirt.
Alrighty guys, so today we're going to be doing some vibe coding. So ahead of the pre-con, we just had a need for a little application that Andy and I talked about, and today we're going to vibe code it together. I've been voluntold as the sacrificial lamb to lead today's vibe coding session, and we're probably going to stumble through it, but we're going to have some fun doing it.
Hey, Daryl,
Yeah.
before we get into that, let's get some housekeeping from Thomas.
Awesome.
I was gonna let him go. I was gonna see me at Sequel Saturday. So y'all, I think everybody's been here, previous to user group, right? Any new people here today?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got one? Okay, well, cool. So, if you're new here, welcome to the Baton Rouge User Groups. We're a split between, an old group called SQL Server User Group and then the .NET User Group. We're still looking for leaders for the .NET User Group. If anyone wants to take over that spot. For the development part of our user group, that's it. We're an umbrella, and we also have one called BRUG, Baton Rouge Analytics and Intelligence Network. So there's really 3 user groups that are combined in one, which is really nice. We want to thank our great Andy over there for broadcasting this over the internet. Long due process. It's flowing really well. He's doing a great job. It's kind of upgraded our abilities and our standing in the community. So, part of our user group is meeting here monthly, the second Wednesday of every month. As you can see, we have plenty of networking when you get here. There's usually food here. Pizza's better than usual, which is impressive. Haven't even touched the cookies yet, which I'll get to in just a second. But welcome. If you're interested in speaking, we always need speakers. Even if you're sacrificial lamb, we'll take you, man. And if you're scared of speaking or have some apprehension towards it, we do have lightning rounds. So you can come in and do a 15-minute talk before the main talk, get you an introduction, get your feet wet, and doing presentations. If you need help, you can contact us. I've been doing this for a long time, and I can give you some pointers, and you can go through your slides and give you some ideas. Well, apparently you don't need that anymore because AI has taken my knowledge and just broadcast it to the world. So I need to lock my stuff down and put some copyrights on there. It sounds like it still won't help. So one of the big deals about our user group is we put on a yearly event. It's at LSU. Very beautiful little area, business education complex. It's been going on for a long time. I think this is 16th, 17th, something like that. And then we actually had 2 BI editions as well over the course of the last 5 or 6 years. Last year we probably had about 400 people there. This year, how many tracks we got? 10? 9. So there's 10 tracks. So you got 10 tracks of 5 sessions. So there's 50 presentations that'll be going on. We also have pre-cons, which Daryl was part of one of the pre-cons. We have another pre-con on PowerShell. Those will be held at the Blue Cross Blue Shield facilities. And if you go on Eventbrite, you can register for those. Great value. I think some of these sessions, like people do pre-cons that I go to conferences at, and they charge anywhere from $400 to $600, almost the exact same thing. So it's up like $150. You get a real good bargain for it. So we want y'all to promote and talk about the pre-cons. The event on Saturday is absolutely free. We have, 12, 15 sponsors now. We're pretty much fully funded to put on our event with, comfort space, which is an extreme blessing. We have other SQL Saturdays, and that's not the case. You might see it labeled to as Day of Data now. The SQL Saturday brand is moving to Day of Data. You might see that instead. Last year we had 400 people, lots of sponsors, jambalaya, and some vegetarian food. There's a raffle at the end, coffee in the morning, donuts in the morning, and free training all day. I see it, this event, 100 people sitting in the cafeteria area just networking. I even talk to people who don't even go to sessions. They're just there to talk to the sponsors, see what's going on in the industry, and just to hang out. So on a hot Saturday, July 18th, in Louisiana, we're in air conditioning, you got some free food and stuff. It's a nice, comfortable place. So please go register that if you haven't already. The registration is on Eventbrite along with the two pre-cons. Anything else I'm missing there?
If you're looking for a job, a lot of our sponsors are not necessarily there to sell you anything, they're there recruiting. So
Most of the sponsors are there recruiting for jobs. I call it networking, but it's basically passing the verbal resume around to a lot of people. Question? No, we're even better than that. It's all online. So if you go to SQLStatBR.com, there's everything you would need to know about our event. It's on SQLStatBR.com.
Saturday night.
We're still doing this.
Yeah. So all
The closest I could find was information from 2023 online. So
that's Google for you. You should be using Bing.
Should not have.
That was a joke.
I'm gonna completely blame Mike Eugen for that because he let go of the .NET user group, and so since you searched for Bird Nub, that was .NET user group, and you just
if you look up
they're also working websites.
Our user groups has lots of technical debt.
somewhere on
And AI just sucking it up. So, since we have one new guy, let's go around the room and introduce yourself. My name's Thomas, I'm a data solution architect at a company called SHI. We consult mainly in Fabric and around the data, Azure data space.
I'm Kenny Neal, I'm an innovation engineer at Blue Cross Blue Shield.
I'm Daryl, I'm the data warehouse manager at Genesis.
Brian Briggs, I'm a human resources information systems at Formosa Plastics.
Formosa Plastic?
Formosa Plastics. I'm Doug Lugan, senior leader over at Tyler Technologies. Russ Lawrence.
So criminal software.
Criminal software, well, municipality software. Don't get in trouble, I'll find you.
So I'm Jeremy Beckham. I am a AI solutions architect, starting Monday with Eisner Hammer. Previous to that, I was with Aaron Norton and Blue Cross and a whole bunch of other people.
Congratulations, it's a little place to work.
I'm Justin Omni. We help organizations build like AI native systems, and Daryl tells me all that.
I'm Andrew Mega. I'm a business systems consultant. Right now, I'm a product owner over a Scrum team, and we're drowning in enablement. So that's kind of why I'm here to learn more.
What's the company?
Progressive Insurance.
Progressive Insurance. Okay.
Hi, my name is Jake Baker. You guys are wondering, I'm actually looking for a job as of like Thursday of last week, so keep that in mind. But outside of that, I'm a full stack with Amplify, systems. I've never heard of them, but it's okay. We move a lot of real estate around. That's it. Brain smart. So, yeah, I guess had compliance of our systems, focus on sewer and stormwater services and
What's the company?
compliance of our systems.
Andy Parkinson, I am a data engineer at MMR.
All right, I've delayed this long.
Awesome. All right, guys. So my name is Daryl Roberts. I'm the head of AI at Omni AI, a local AI startup. We do all kinds of things, consulting for a number of different fields like construction, electrical, basically you name it. We've done the consulting for AI work there. We also teach AI when we can. We taught a class recently that's where I met Andy. So that went really well. And we also build systems. We're on pretty much the cutting edge of like research and development. We're doing some things with behavior trees, event sourcing, things like that. So definitely encourage you guys to check us out if you haven't heard of us yet. But today, we're not going to be doing too much crazy AI stuff. We're going to be doing some live coding. So has anybody not live coded before? First, for those that haven't live coded, have you guys coded before?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Okay, great.
I have not.
Have not. Okay, great. Awesome. I love it. So we have a little bit of a disparate crew here. So that's great for those of you who have live coded a whole lot. Maybe some of you fall in that bucket like me, who are talking to thousands of terminals a day. Probably talk to AI more than talk to my wife at this point. But take it easy on these guys that are starting out. We're going to try and take it slow so that everybody understands what we're doing, what skills are, and all that stuff. We'll get into all that. So what is live coding? We're going to be building software by directing an AI in plain language instead of typing the actual code ourselves. We're going to try and stay the architect. Notice I say we're going to try and stay the architect because AI tends to veer, and we're going to do our best to keep it from veering. We're going to decide the decisions, the takes, the review. It all still belongs to us. The AI is just doing the busy work of the typing. What we're not doing is we're not going to ignore the code and hope that the AI can do it. We're going to keep a hand on the wheel as much as we possibly can.
How often does the AI go off track of the road in your experience?
Very often. And it comes with managing the context. And we're actually going to talk about that here. So, we're going to get to that here. Yeah. But yes, very much managing the context is going to be the key. And we'll talk about the smart zone, dumb zone stuff in a second. So, what is an LLM? I assume everyone here is familiar with LLMs at this point. Does anybody not know what an LLM is, or it's kind of fuzzy on how it works under the hood? No? Okay, so just to kind of touch on it, an LLM is no different really than like a stock market predictor. It's a time series prediction model. It essentially takes some entire input in the encoder, It's going to encode all of that into some sort of embedded space, and then you have the decoder on the other side that's going to say, considering this entire input that's been observed bidirectionally, I want you now to produce one token. And then it's going to say, okay, now considering all of this input and this one token you produced, what's the next token? And it's just going to keep doing that over and over and over again. Now, what that means is an LLM, all it can really do is talk to you. It can just say, I'm going to answer your question given what you've told me. The byproduct of it being actually right about the questions you ask, or actually knowing how to answer your questions, or actually being helpful, those are all byproducts. That's just a quirk that appeared by allowing the models to learn language. Because it has studied the internet, it now knows, hey, I can answer the question correctly because considering this input, most likely output is this, which just so happens to be right because it's studied the internet. But that's not always the case. So it has no memory between sessions. Fresh chat starts clean every time. Every time you spark up the encoder network, everything starts clean. So an LLM is not capable of doing anything for you without some sort of external harness, tools, skills, MCPs, things of that nature. So who is this Claude fellow? So today I'm going to be coding in Claude Code. Some of you have probably heard of that. There's lots of really standard coding or vibe coding platforms out there. Like I said, I'm going to use Claude Code, but there's also Codex, which is really popular. Open Code we may have to fall into today because I think I'm at 50% of my session limit for this 5 hours. So if we get to switch over, we'll switch over. But it pretty much all works the same way. We want the terminal to be able to talk to our code and be able to use Claude in our actual code to, Claude Code is its hands where it can actually do things that we need to do. So here I just have the link to those of you who do not have Claude Code or don't have any sort of live coding terminal or any ability to do that. We can go ahead and go to the Claude Code website. I just Google Claude Code download, and the first thing to pop up, of course, was Codex. But the second thing to pop up was actually Claude Code. So let's go to that. And we'll go ahead and get Claude Code and do it however you see fit. If you don't have your Claude Coder yet, you can get it for Mac OS. I recommend running this command in your actual terminal. For those of you who do not know what a terminal is. Whoa. Let's pretend I'm brand new. Let's just search it. Terminal. And of course, I'll put it over here. Let's see where to go. All right, terminal. Okay. Lightning. That's right. All right. So once you have that command, you can just paste it in there, run it, and if you don't have Claude already, I do. It will go ahead and download it for you, and then you'll have the handy little Claude command where you can start talking to this little guy. So we'll go back out and call Claude. And it says, safety check. I'm going to do things to your code that you're probably going to like or not like. Versus never going to trust Claude. And of course, Fable 5 is now out. If you guys haven't played with that yet, I ran some benchmarks on it today. Some internal benchmarks. It performed about the same level as GPT 5.4, so Claude Code and Codex are still about hand in hand there at the moment. But it's more to come, I'm hoping, on Fable 5. But now we can talk to this Claude fellow, right? Let's hop back over. We lost. All right. So once we have Claude Code, you now have your ability to vibe code however you please. This guy can now code things on your computer. You can tell it to edit pictures and stuff for you, all kinds of things. Now, if you just start using Claude Code, and for those of you who have vibe coded, you're very familiar with the fact that the model very fast goes off the rails. It loses context. You're having to re-explain things to it. Maybe you talked it through some feature. It's very, a ton of detail. You copy pasted tons of notes and stuff that you have, and you're working, and a few hours later, Claude's like, wait, what are you talking about in this feature, this thing you talked about? I have no idea what you're talking about. And then you have to re-explain it. That's because it got compacted in the conversation, and now those details are lost. So we know that models often have a smart zone and a dumb zone. So what happens here is the model will have some sort of context from the conversation that may be a block here, and then it may have some memory for the user that may be here, and then it has some actions and stuff that it's able to take that may be here, and all that stuff kind of starts filling up your smart zone before you can even make the first call. Now you start making calls, and that smart zone starts getting filled up, and then you get into the dumb zone, and you're still working, and you're noticing things are going bad. You say, okay, maybe let me compact so I can get my stuff back. And it comes all the way back here, and what happens is that conversation context actually just gets compressed. So it's now a summary of that thing. Your user memories now get compressed. All the tools and things it can do get compressed. Everything that's happened so far now gets compressed. And eventually, as you keep going, your smart zone just becomes automatically filled up. So every time you're compacting, you're just starting off in the dumb zone right immediately. So the goal,
It's kind of like dealing with actual management, where as you go up and the slow rates continue, it just gets closer and closer to the dumb zone.
exactly. Yeah, that's a great way to think of it. So the goal is, when we're vibe coding, is to keep tasks small so the work fits in the smart zone. We want to do our best to keep it out of the dumb zone. So we're going to be doing clearing and restarting. We're going to try and avoid compaction unless we're working on the same problem. And then the model is the guy from Memento, the movie Memento. So he has a fresh start every time. The fresh start is the smartest start for this guy. So humans own alignment and planning. Agents will do implementation. All right, so I got some tips and tricks on how we're going to stay in the smart zone. I don't want to take up too much time doing a whole bunch of explaining. So I have a skills library here, Matt Hocock. He does a whole bunch of talks on vibe coding. I really recommend listening to some of his talks on YouTube. They're free and they're really, really good. He goes through a lot of his skills and stuff like that he uses. I find myself in love with some of his skills, and we're actually going to be highlighting some of those today. If you say, I don't know how to put skills in Claude, what do I do? What I do is I just copy this, and I tell Claude, I want these. And he will set them up, right? So he'll go ahead and set them up for you. He'll set the skills. He'll be like, okay, now restart your terminal, and everything will be good. And once you go there, you'll see them there, and we'll see we have our new skills, such as grill me. You can't see anything there in light mode. We'll go over to this. But we have all of our skills that we now want. So hopping over to the slideshow here, our basic skills that we're going to be using today are going to be grill of docs. So this is going to be where the AI interviews you on a question. So typically, whenever you have some sort of feature that you want to implement, who reaches for plan mode first thing? I know I did. So I usually go to plan mode and just be like, hey, I want to implement this new feature. We need to go ahead and plan it out. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to review the plan. We might mark it up. Say I have some comments for you. Claude's then going to go, remake the plan, and then we'll go in like auto mode and let it start going through the plan and implementing. With Grill Docs, it sort of helps keep the plan in line. So whenever you use plan mode, the AI typically makes a whole bunch of decisions for you. It makes a lot of assumptions. You're not really on the same page of the AI. Grill Docs really helps solve for that. It gets you and the AI on the same page. It prompts it to ask you a bunch of questions, so it makes sure that it understands the problem that you're solving. And it also keeps a context where all the terms that you guys are talking about is going to keep a note of all those terms in the context. And we'll see that in a second. Actually, I'll go ahead and show you that now. Carry this bad boy over. So Justin and I are working on an app together. So we can see here how this can work together. So him and I are working together, and we want to make sure that we stay on the same page as far as what we're doing. So here in our build timeline, I can go to where's our context perfect in the workshop. Let's just go ahead and
You're in the docs folder?
maybe the docs folder. Oh, there it is.
That's bad.
Yes. So we can see here, we get all our terms are kind of talking about. So in this one, we're talking about.
Can you go light theme and command plus a couple times?
Yeah. Should be.
Ooh, that's good. Now we can.
I wish I could agree.
Command Shift D light.
What?
Accessibility short.
Whoa!
Oh, you'll never get out of this one.
You're stuck now. Go for it.
That should be. Right. There you go.
There we go. Okay. Nice. That's a bad boy. So this is an example of a context in the file that Gorilla Docs is going to maintain. So as you and your AI work together to build, you're going to be talking about some vocabulary and you're going to be mentioning these things over and over. So there's, whenever I talk about a transcript, this is what I'm talking about. When I talk about a raw transcript, this is what I'm talking about. A cleaned one, regeneration, validated transcript, blah, 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 blah. So it's just to make sure that as Claude's moving forward, he doesn't forget about the things that we're talking about. And whenever I reference something, like when I say superseded, this is what I mean. And Claude knows what I mean, and he doesn't have to re-ask me again, what are you talking about when you're talking about this thing? Then we're going to be able to take that drill session after it's asking me all of those questions that's come up with the context MD. I then can move to 2PRD. It's going to take that raw drill session and turn it into an actual PRD that will then help us actually implement our plan.
PRD is production.
PRD, it's basically, It's basically just going to be a document that it's going to say all the tests that we need to run, all those things, what functionality we're actually trying to implement, and all those things. So,
Product requirements document.
yes.
I thought you were working.
That just means straight push it to fry, baby. To fry.
Then we have two issues. So what that's going to do is it's going to take that PRD, it's going to split it up into tracer bullets.
To provide.
Is everybody familiar with tracer bullets? Has anybody not heard of tracer bullets before? It might be pretty new. So tracer bullets, let me just pull the visuals. Yeah, not like military. So I wasn't Marine Corps. Not those tracer bullets.
I was thinking that one.
Not that one. Not that one.
Clearly somebody.
So actually, you're joking. It probably was someone from Volunteer that did, because Volunteer is being very forward on this, and they use only military-based terminology for anything. Like they're people they call forward deployed engineers. That's all. So it's purely
So a tracer bullet is basically a vertical slice that touches all the bits of your application that can be tested from end to end. So if you have some command that does some sort of process that then shoots up some read model for the screen, that whole process would be one vertical slice. And instead of just working on just the database element or just the domain element, and then saying, okay, well, I hope it lines up with the thing I just worked on, we're basically going to try and organize it so that our vertical slices make some feature testable end to end. So that's what two issues is going to be. It's just optimized so that we can split our work into vertical slices, and it allows us to actually keep track of our work. So if you think in packs, we can say we're working on issue 1. We work on issue 1, we work on issue 1, we finish issue 1. Now let's go to issue 2. We'll just clear the memory, go back to issue 2. Yes, sir.
So just to make sure I'm getting this right.
Yeah.
We have the first one, which is grow, which is where we're coming up with our plan.
Yeah.
Then we have 2 prod, and I mistakenly thought that was a ticket. This appears to be tickets. That one's
Yes.
epic.
Yes, yeah. The PRD is just basically like the massive file of the feature and all those things about it.
Everything we need.
Everything, yeah. And then the issue is going to split it into the vertical slices with the tracers. So that's right. Then finally, we're going to use TDD. That's going to be our testing sort of framework of how we're actually going to implement. So TDD just basically just means, hey, for every single issue, we're going to approach it and say, what's the minimal test that we can say that this thing needs to be able to pass for us to say this one slice is done. It's going to check and make sure that that test fails. So that means red light. It's then going to try and fix that, do the implementation, and then rerun the test and make sure that it's green light. And it actually does what you need it to do. So this is how we're going to actually implement all of our slices. Then lastly, I like to also give my Claude code, especially if I'm working on some sort of web app or application, the ability to interact with that application so it can run my QAs for me. So today, I'm also going to be giving Claude code Playwright MCP. If you don't know how to give Claude an MCP server, it's very similar to the Skills one. We'll go ahead and say Playwright MCP.
Claude, what is this?
Honestly. And then we'll just say, give me that. Give me this. Right? And he will set it up, and he will say, once I'm done, hey, restart your terminal, this will be set up, he just slash MCP thing, sometimes he messes up, I have had to retry the MCP sometimes, he'll set it up on like a root level instead of like a project level, and it won't work, you'll be back and forth a little bit, but he can set up Playwright MCP for you, you don't have to worry about doing too much crazy stuff there.
And if it messes up the first time, just say fix it, and then you'll only fix it.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. So, alright, so once Claude can start using our Playwright MCP, that means he'll be able to interact with our app with us alongside us as we build it. So, just to prove that Claude's here with us. Hey Claude, we're in class now. I've got the browser up on the screen. Can you say hello to everyone? Let's see what he does.
Do you want another screen?
Yeah, I have a terminal down below. Actually, you know what? Let me move it over here so you can see it. Oh, you're running.
Is everything you're doing on localhost, like your localhost, or you got a VM or anything on it to do all? You're doing?
Yeah, I'm on localhost now. Just run the app.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Let's try it here. Hello.
Data.
Hello, data. All right. So Claude can work with our Playwright here. So you can click buttons, you can interact, and all of those things with us. So let's get all here. So now we got all the skills we need, and you've got that Playwright tool. So what are we building today? So Andy and I talked about this. We're going to need a nice tool for data. So today we use paper wrap tickets. Attendees print tickets with their name and email. They hand them to vendors. People forget to print them, forget to bring them, or never signed up. So contacts get hand labeled or lost. So today what we're going to try and do is build an application where an attendee can wear a QR code badge. The vendor can use our application to scan that badge, and at the end, the vendor has a clean list of emails that they can send to their team. So in this picture, we have the vendor who's going to be the main user. He's going to be the booth operator. He opens up the app on their phone. He can scan badges all day, and then at the end of the day, once he's done, he can export that list over to his buddies. We have the attendees. They're going to be wearing a QR code badge for their name, email. They're not going to be using the app. They're just going to be the communications that are getting scanned. Then we have the badge itself, the QR code for the name and email. We have the scan, which is the capture the badge with the camera. We have a lead, which is the saved contact, the email, the time it was collected, that's going to be for the vendor, and then we have our export. So that's essentially the surface area of the app that we're going to be trying to update today. So we have our flow here. I don't want to beat this dead horse too hard, but we're going to be opening the app, tap the scan, camera reads the badge, lead save, we can export at the end of the day, and that'll be a CSV that's downloadable, make it up as email instead. So, just so we're all on the same page, it must be able to scan a badge and rename an email. It needs to be able to save each lead on the phone. It needs some sort of confirmation after each scan. It needs to be able to send out the list of leads, export a CSV. If you have some time, we're going to see if we can make some a badge generator that the attendees will be wearing. Any data framing, some cool stuff we'll put on there. And if we have time, we can make it installable offline. I don't know if we'll be able to do that. And then not tonight, we're not going to do any sort of database or accounting sign-ins or anything crazy like that. Yeah. Let's do database. Database are right. Alright, cool. So, how we're going to build all the pieces piece by piece, so we have all of our vertical slices, or at least in our mind, what we're thinking our vertical slices are. We want to be able to have a camera that can scan, we want to be able to export, we want to be able to see our leads list, and we want possibly a badge generator. So, first, don't grab your pitchforks. I have gotten a head start a little bit on just the actual environment and getting it set up. So, I didn't want to sit here and flummox with our libraries and stuff like that, so I went ahead and got us a head start. And that is going to be here. So, we have this State of Data Vibes GitHub library that I welcome you guys to go to and go ahead and pull down. If you're not sure how to clone a repo from GitHub, you can just go over to code here, HTTPS or SSH, HTTPS is usually fine. We'll just copy this, or if you really don't want to do that, you can just copy this up here. And we'll just copy the Claude, and we'll say, clone this for me. Right?
Cool, it's true. It's ridiculous. It is kind of true. I haven't officially done that one time.
Right.
That's a lot of work.
Or we can be professionals and really use Git clone, right? but we don't want to do that. We want to use AI. This is a vibe coding class or vibe coding.
That's great. Not really, but.
All right.
Create your directory as I call it.
Alright, so we're going to pull this in and we're going to start working with it. So this is just going to be the base application. All you can do right now is basically, it is an application and it has a camera feature. The reason being is I've had a whole bunch of issues with some QR code libraries and issues on iPhone, like downloading it locally and stuff like that. So I found a good QR code library that I think is going to work for us, and I just verified that it worked. And we'll be able to use that to rip off of. So we'll go here. How we got here, just to show that it was not that difficult. So it started with a real time meeting. Andy and I met at the table here in the library. We recorded the meeting, and I passed that meeting to Claude, and I said, "Can you make me a spec page for the app that we're going to be building?" And he sure did do that. No, that's worse. So much worse. Okay. Where's our spec sheet here? So we basically just took the transcript between Andy and I just had Claude build up a spec sheet focusing on the app that we're going to be building today. So he set it up, let us know, who uses it, what the problem is, what it is, core flow, all that stuff. And this is going to be where we start from. So we just essentially have a spec sheet. Then I said, hey, what's the best way to scan QR codes in a browser today? I have never built a browser app that can scan QR codes, so I have no idea what to do. It flagged the most popular library, which at the time was HTML5 QR code, but it marked it as abandoned. It saw that there's been no real pushes to it since 2023. There's some known camera bugs in the issues, so we chose a well-maintained one. The same research surfaced an Apple bug. A camera won't run in an installed home screen app. So we made a decision. We kept it a plain URL, not an installed app. And then we just wrote that down in the ADR, which is the architectural design. So let's take a look at that. Right here in our docs. No, that's the wrong one. Where's our data? Here in our app. Where is it? it's cheap. Or maybe we don't have any ADRs yet, we have not started the, but we will have one today. And then we're gonna let the AI scaffold the shell. I just said, hey, set up a small type whatever React app with the QR library, and it installed everything and handed me back the app that said, hey, you're ready to go for this data pipeline thing. So I just test drove the piece of logic just to make sure the QR library worked out. I could just basically ask Claude, hey, since you have Playwright, can you test and make sure that this works? And he was able to do so. I made 3 sample badges just to make sure the QR code thing app and stuff. And then put it on a real iPhone. So we can see here. Let's go ahead and get this generated. Is this already running? Oh, it's almost internet. Where is it here? Just gonna ask if that
Doesn't even care if you misspell words.
No, it does not.
Which is very good for me.
It's there's no spell checking here for a reason. Of course, we're compacting. Okay, so let's see. I think this is running actually already.
The keyboard's counting.
Let's just ask this one to do it. Engineering. You've got to be Captain. Jesus Christ.
Every one of you now knows what it's like to be a manager of software developers. This is the same experience. All the time. Ask something. I'm sorry, I'm compacting.
Right. Yeah. I guess we're gonna let
I'll
him
get back to you in an hour.
We'll come back to this next and look at it, and then we'll test these.
No one's arguing.
Come on, Claude.
It's taking its time.
Let's just do clear. Start the
None of the links at the bottom work. Is that what we're supposed to build?
Yes. This is it's super just like it's literally just a web browser.
Well, I've pulled it down and it's running on my machine.
Nice. There we go. That's the hope.
That was fairly easy. That's what I did. I said, find a place to pull this down. They got that wrong.
Okay, there we go.
What's a mobile tunnel?
So this is going to expose my computer to the internet. And I'm going to be able to use my phone to be able to test out the app.
It's in Grok.
Or is it? I can't remember what I'm using here. Or is it Cloudflare? I'm using Cloudflare here.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
There we go. It's live. Make sure it's working here.
Tailscale. Yeah,
I'm a Tailscale fan.
Yeah, Tailscale is like the big boy version of this.
I use Tailscale.
That's not 173.
Mr. Colin.
Oh, my God. We just. Oh, yeah, we're cool. Thank you. What about the notebook?
What's happening?
I'm trying to sell this tunnel. You go here. It's on the ground.
Sure. And the most difficult part of this is the part that the AI doesn't do.
All right, so we just have the basic app here. So we can open the app itself. You can scan the QR code, and we can open the app on mobile. Put an error. That's not great. And of course, we're having the day of issues here. Error. All error.
Don't you know? When you give a
Oh, you do use the
exactly the right.
This is on exactly the right time.
Oh, well, it's still swirling. That's okay.
It takes live where you're checking. How about now? Okay.
Blame the DBAs.
Right.
This is a DNS problem.
There's a DNS problem.
It's always DNS, right?
Several times.
Even more so, this is an like networks. And networks by security, so it always comes back to the security problem. Security caused the problem.
Wonder if we do it off of my
Those
phone.
people that were at Blue Cross understand that security caused it.
They will never know.
But everyone knows. Every P1 I've ever had, I've always like messaged Jeff, go, what did you do?
Okay. Maybe we'll just work from here. Maybe the phone thinks I can work for us today. Oh well. Well, we will not harp on that too long. You should be able to run it localhost. Maybe it's an internet issue or something. But it should be able to picture, and then you should be able to scan these bad boys to prove at least the QR part is working. But today, we will just get to work on the app. So the first thing we want to get through is being able to actually get into the app from the vendor screen and be able to start scanning QR codes and potentially seeing those leads on the screen. So let's hop over to Claude here, and we'll start working. So we're going to clear so we can get into the smart zone again. Clear this bad boy out. And supposedly we're in the smart zone now, right? So let's go ahead and get to work. So we have our spec sheet, and we'll just say, hey Claude, let's get to work on the first bit of this project. Here is the spec sheet. And then we're just gonna give this bad boy the spec sheet here. We're gonna begin working on the vendor screen to be able to click the camera button to pull up the camera and begin scanning QR codes to gather the leads. Right, so we're just gonna work on the first feature. And then we'll go in here and we're not going to plan mode, we're actually gonna say, do some digging in the repo to orient yourself in what we have so far, including the QR libraries or any dependencies you need. Once you have oriented yourself in the repo, go ahead and proceed to Grill with Docs, so that we can be sure that you and I are on the same page when we get to implementation. Right? So we'll go ahead and send this off. We'll let him do some digging. If you've played with the terminal or using Claude Code in the terminal within your VS Code, every now and then you'll see it like jumping around. I'm not sure if you guys have seen that. It starts to get really glitchy, and sometimes it'll like close out your VS Code completely. You can avoid that by using Claude Code in a terminal on its own, and then just like viewing the code in VS Code. That's typically how I do. But for the ease of this lesson, we're going to go ahead and just do it on the same screen so you guys can see everything working together.
You were just talking to her.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yes, sir, yeah. So that's Whisper Flow. So Whisper Flow is just an external application that I installed here.
I guess my question is has it learned how to interpret your conversation, or are you skilled now on what to say and how to say it?
I think it's a little bit of both. I'm a little more skilled in talking to Claude now than I was, of course, when I first started. I use them all the time, every day. But also, my Claude learns, so I have them, say things about me in the context, whether I have like context at the top level, everything about me, maybe it's an Obsidian Vault or something, and then within all the projects it has context as well, and sometimes within the folders of that project they may have extra context. So he has learned from us working together about how things work with me. So it may be a little bit different for you if you're like first starting off with him, but give him time and he'll adjust.
What have you learned?
Also, Claude's
Yeah. Right.
What have you learned to formulate your sentence versus question versus
Well, like you do to dig through the code, you can orient yourself, right? That's not something that some people would have known to do.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. So that just comes with some muscle memory. So like over time I've learned like, hey, if I just drop in here and tell Claude to do a thing, he's gonna go do that thing. And he's not gonna care what happens to the rest of everything else. He's just gonna go do it. And I know from my experience playing with him, that if I want him to do things well in my repo, I want him to first orient himself, figure out what's going on in the repo, what's the problem we're about to working on, and what all is it going to touch. That's why we're going to go with Gorilla Docs first, because if I hadn't even gone with Gorilla Docs, I would have said, hey, we're going to start working on this first feature. We'll look at this and say, hey, we have some basic web app, let's plan out the build. But with Gorilla Docs, it's giving him the opportunity to talk to me and make sure that we're on the same page. So here we can see that it's actually trying to use its question asking skill here. There's a lot of problems with this. I don't really care for it too much. This is just a skill that Claude has, and if it comes up using it, trying to use the Gorilla Docs skill, I just prefer not to do it that way. I like to talk to it freely. So I'm just going to stay back here and just say, remember when you're using Gorilla Docs to not use the ask user question skill, just ask it in plain language along with the recommendation. Cool. So for question 1, QR payload format. So our spec, section 9, lists that this is an open ambiguity, plain main email versus vcard versus JSON. But your repo's already answered it in practice. We have a generate badge thing that we just showed to show the example badges. And it's every example badge with encode vcard and parse vcard. It's your only tested parser. Code says vcard 3.0. Spec says undecided. My recommendation, Ratify vCard 3.0 as a payload format. vCard only, no fallback. Reasons, you already have the tested encoder and complex parser, generator, scanner, share, that one module so they can't drift. vCard badge can even be read by phone's native camera as contact, blah, 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 blah. I'd skip tolerant fallback, also accepting blah, blah, blah. Do you agree? We close the ambiguity on vCard 3.0. Yes. I agree. Yes, I agree.
Wholeheartedly.
Yes.
I really agree.
Yes! Okay, so let's see what it does next.
Let's say purple. Or ambulance.
The thing that it's the own language it creates.
Yes, it's a name. All right.
You kind of wish it would show you the context underneath what it's doing now. You can see it.
I mean, it's getting up to that 1.8K tokens, is that something worrying?
Yes, what you're seeing there is in the background, there's about 5 or 6 different paragraphs that it came up with all on its own, and then it's gonna summarize it and deliver it back to you.
Are you worried about how many tokens issues?
No, so not too much. So I can see here about where we're at. We're at 44K so far, and we're just planning right now. So that's totally fine. Remember that smart zone? It starts to dip off into the dumb zone around 100K. So we're doing pretty good right now.
Why do you say it's 100K?
100K is about what we found it to be. So you often have some leeway. A lot of these models are pushing further and further in their context windows. They're claiming a million contexts at this point. But we found that for the most part, what they're doing as they're expanding these context windows is they're just making the dumb zone further. And the smart zone's kind of staying.
And that's essentially your session memory. So if you throw a large code base into Claude and tell it to start working with it, I'm talking 10 million lines of code.
Yeah, absolutely.
It starts to freak out.
Yeah, it starts to freak out. If you use Claude Code, especially like on a larger repo, Real with Docs is really, really key because you'll get that context document. But another really good thing, if you haven't played with it much, is this init command. It comes baked into Claude Code. And I really like to use it, especially if it's like a large repo. I like to go into every single bit. So I go into like the source folder and have a whole bunch of components. I'll go into each component and run init. This will get Claude up to speed on that one component. Or you can run init from the root, and it will do an exploration of your whole repo, and you'll get this Claude MD file to get Claude up to speed on like how to use your code and stuff like that. But if it's very, very large, I definitely recommend using the /init inside of the source folders, inside of each folder, so you can get a really
that
good
assumes
Claude.
you're working with a component architecture of sorts.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but and it's really nice. You can do it as detailed as you want, down to as deep of a folder level as you want, and you just keep coming up. That'll allow you Claude MD, like at the root, to know everything about the Claude MDs inside of each folder. So
If you're not in a component type architecture, the best thing to do is actually to go ahead and use Claude Code to do it, and actually make a documentation folder and have Claude start documenting everything that's there. And then you can point it back to your documentation folder for a lot of the context of how stuff's done.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that makes a much more compact context window for how you do things and where stuff is. And then it's smart enough to say, okay, I don't have to understand every line of code because I can find the files that are pertaining to this, because I can look at this one piece of context, discard it later, and then go find it.
All right, it's kind of a pointer system. Then.
Yes.
right, yeah, kind of like a pointer system.
MD files basically become your pointers to your whole application.
When you say we, you're talking about you and Claude or you and Justin?
Depends on which situation. But a lot of times it's me and Claude. Wait, let's see. Where's the repo? Where is it?
It is part of your team. I mean,
Yeah, here we go. Look. Contributors 1, Claude Code. It's a week.
That's awesome.
It's a week.
I'm gonna start looking for that.
All right. So here, question 2. The scan loop, continuous versus one and done, same badge and frame. So your spec reads, tap scan, camera opens, read badge, can delete to the CSV file, show that it was saved, repeat all day. That describes packet path, but leaves the loop shape unstated, and there's a subtle trap hiding in it. The QR scanner decodes continuously up to 25 frames a second. A badge sitting in the camera's view for 2 seconds will fire on decode dozens of times. Your spec says duplicates are acceptable, no you do. But that rule is about a vendor intentionally scanning someone 3 times, yielding 3 rows. It is not meant to turn one badge held in frame for 40 identical leads. So whatever we pick, we need a guard, so 1 bit per presentation of a badge equals 1 lead. Given that, 2 real branches. We can allow for continuous scanning with a first scan guard, that's clause recommendation, so the camera stays open after a save. On successful decode, we append the lead, flash the saved whoever confirmation, then suppress further scans until the badge leaves the frame, or a short cooldown passes. So this will allow people to show their badge and then take it away without it being scanned over and over. The vendor just keeps pointing at the next attendee in line, no tapping between people. This matches the scan badges all day. Per line at the booth, far better. Or we have the one and done, each scan captures exactly 1 badge, camera stops, returns to the leads list. It's simpler to do, but it has no double scan guard, but the vendor taps the screen again and again, having to scan each time. So, Claude says we should do A, but this is up to the room. What do you guys feel? You think A? Yeah, I agree.
Thanks, good.
Oh, okay, how much time do we have to do this, and what is the client asking for?
Depends on how old the vendor's scanner.
That is true, how
Oh,
many
my
of these are there, cause I
God.
wouldn't mind doing it 30 times, but like 800 times.
Or you can always choose C and just say, take care of the dedupe, because I'm scanning a QR code that I can easily detect if I'm already scanning it.
You got A and B out, Todd got A and B out, but in your requirement, you mentioned something like that?
Yeah.
If it found some options that it knows how to code.
Yeah, so one of the things there will say, like, take an adversarial persona and look at my specs and come up with areas of ambiguity and ask me these questions so that it doesn't make decisions that you're not driving, and that's what this is kind of rolling through. Is it saying, like, let's get rid of all that ambiguity so we actually have a good spec, and I'll just ask you every time I find a pocket of uncertainty.
Yeah, Claude is the best business analyst.
Imagine that you travel a junior developer inside.
What skill are you using right now to run this?
This is Grill with Docs. So, Grill with Docs, yeah. So if you pull in that skill library, and then restart your quad, you'll be able to do the slash. Grill Me, that's for like non-technical, if you're like.
I've used that skill, that's amazing.
Yeah, Grill Me is incredible. Matt has just recently replaced Grill Me with Grill with Docs. But he says that Grill Me is still better for non-coding things, like if you're working on some
Project management.
like project management. Yeah.
I guess it was a 30, it sat there for 4 hours and grilled me. It's like, what have you done? It's like, I was like, whatever you're doing here, I like it, but you need to stop.
Alright, so at least we're ending, after say we refuse to set another lead until we've seen at least 1 empty frame. A no QR code found frame, so we have to have at least 1 empty frame before it will accept another QR code scan. Translation of the contract, 1 presentation of a badge equals exactly 1 lead. To capture the same attendee again, the vendor pulls the badge out of frame and presents it again. This is self-correcting. When attendee 1 walks away, attendee 2 steps in. That's naturally an empty frame between them. So consecutive different people just work, and a badge lingering in view never refires. Or we can have a cooldown time that says between decodes, it's waits 2 seconds before it can decode again. How do you guys feel about A? Or B?
Why would you want to scan the same person twice?
You probably don't. I can't think of any reason we want to scan a person twice at all, so maybe we don't want to be doing this at all.
I can see and see what happens.
Yeah, let's just say, let's do an option C. We never want the same person twice. So if they have been scanned before, we just ignore them.
It's gonna add some latency while that's how long that up.
True. We're in the database.
Oh, that database.
And then
I mean, you're looking at 400 people scan at the most in memory.
So they created another thing right now, or it's actually writing code.
So when it's writing, it is, every now and then writing some like context in these. It didn't do it here, it's here. So right here, it, wrote to this docs, ADR file. Let's go here, here's our docs, ADR file. So here's where it's building, this documentation for the, architectural design that we're working on now.
Alright.
And then we're also updating, the context as we're moving, and Claude and I are getting on the same page.
We're still architecting.
That's right, yeah, we're still architecting here.
Okay.
So that's not even architecting, we're requirements gathering.
Yeah.
That's right, that's right.
We're not even at
Right.
architecture.
Maybe there's no art, yeah, okay.
Alright, so hold on, I need to flag a direct contradiction before we build on this, because it's exactly the kind of thing this section exists to catch. Your spec explicitly lists deduplication under won't add in V1. Deduplication, if vendor scans someone 3 times, that's 3 rows, fine for now. And section 6 repeats, duplicates are acceptable. What you just said is the opposite. That's true, Claude. Never the same person twice, ignore repeat scans. That's a legitimate change of mind, you're the client, you can overrule the brief, but I want to be a deliberate reversal on record. So, yes, on record, Claude.
So basically, it's telling you that Claude is saying, I'm not the only one that makes mistakes.
Right.
The person that wrote this skill is someone that's had to deal with pain in the ass clients before, and there you go.
He's saying it to you, hey, man, not to say.
So, I have indeed changed my mind. So, its proposed contract is going to be deduping by normalizing the email, scope to the vendor's phone locally, so that vendor can't scan multiple people, but of course other vendors can scan that person. With a distinct already saved confirmation. So right up, it's adding some more docs, our dedupe leads by email. This is in our architectural design stuff. Let's see here. So we're still building out these ADRs, and updating our context.
Is it your prompt that told it to do all this documentation?
So that is actually living inside the Gorilla doc skill. So if I go over to the skills here, and we'll take a look at what that actually looks like.
I'm just impressed that you're doing that, I thought you just get right to code.
Now, that said, you actually don't have to use any of these skills to get Claude to do this. You can just tell it, hey, don't make any changes right now, we're just doing documentation and track everything that we're talking about.
So someone out in the lab, development lab, did that, and then they said, hey, we need a skill for growing, and they created a skill. And some of it.
So they could reuse it.
There's something else with PRD, let's put a skill. And so it's like everybody's building something together to try to make this work better.
The world doesn't realize it was a stepping stone to engineering principles through natural language.
Wow. I'm impressed.
Before we had whole training sessions with junior developers and stuff, now we realize that wait, you have to do the same damn thing with the LLMs. So let's just do it one time to share it.
Yes,
That's great, I'm impressed.
Yeah, so this is the skill here, that's basically just like the prompt, as you can think of it, that's going to the model. Whenever it says, I'm gonna use this Gorilla doc skill, this is what the model sees. So it has some domain awareness, how it's gonna view the file structure, the context map and stuff like that. So the really cool thing with this Gorilla with docs stuff is, especially if you're working with a team of people, everybody can be on the same page on, the vocabulary when we're working on the building component or the ordering component. Everybody can be on the same page with the vocabulary of the app. We can all be on the same page of our architectural decisions. We can all be on the same page of our Claude markdown files and things like that. So you using Claude at your house, you're working on the same application that I'm working on using Claude at my house, and we can have the same vocabulary, we can be talking about the same functionality, same features in the app, and your Claude, doesn't have to be reminded about what my Claude's working on, because my Claude is also updating the same docs that your Claude is. So we're collaboratively working together.
And GitHub's behind us?
GitHub's where everything's saved.
Yeah, right.
And instead of having one drive, it's all on GitHub or the H drive.
I guess what I'm saying is, in your you're using this to develop, you've got a feature to work on. And work on it for a week.
Right.
You coding, branching, putting the stuff in the branch, daily. I mean, you're gonna integrate your CI/CD into all this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So after we grill the docs, what I typically do is I'll say, okay, we'll take this grill session, we'll go, make a feature branch. So all the PRD, all the issues and stuff, that'll all go in the feature branch. We'll work on the feature. We'll make a PR to merge it in. We'll merge it in. All the docs that we made, you go break it, make it in, all that stuff. Yes, sir.
Cool.
And now all your documentation is versions, and it's.
I'm impressed by how much you read off the screens.
Right? People are actually reading again.
Right?
It's crazy.
I'm still Twitter 140 limit. You're reading the whole damn thing without writing.
Hey, look, I'm a book nerd. I'm a book nerd, so.
It's weird, but you're reading so much more because you can.
Yeah, well, I mean, we basically become reviewers. Like, as humans, we're basically just reviewing the AI's work. We're making sure the AI's doing the right thing.
If you don't read like that, install Claude Desktop and just use Claude over the desktop and put it in the voice mode and you'll read it to you. Yeah, I hate that.
And then you can talk to it.
I would do that, so it's going to do something else when I talk.
So, I'm going to try to artificially speed this up so that way we can actually get through the grill. You guys kind of see the gist of how this is working, and then we'll get to the PRD so you guys can actually see implementation all the way through without taking up too much time. So, hey Claude, I'm running this for a class. You're asking lots of great questions. I'm sure the rest of what you come up with is probably great. I don't know. Let's artificially go ahead and move forward with all your recommendations on the rest of the questions you have. Artificially, so that way we can start moving to the next scale.
You're helpful to have a key to talk.
Yes, sir. Yeah, just a function key. That's whisper flow. I was in the Marine Corps for 6 years, so sir is part of my vocabulary for sure.
Also, Thomas is incredibly old.
And Thomas is not used to being chumbered, so he's really confused.
I just signed up to do speaking.
Perfect.
Thomas was a DBA, he is not used to respect.
And then he left the DBA and became an ETL guy and the data warehouse guy, so yeah, really.
Looks like a tear going.
Alright, so we've artificially told Claude to go ahead and finish out the rest of our questions so that we can get to work. So we'll go ahead and say, alright, let's go ahead and save the grill session locally, even all the questions you didn't get a chance to ask me, along with your recommended answers to those. Let's save that locally in the docs folder under grill sessions, so that way nobody loses the raw questions that were asked and the raw answers that were given.
So you're very native with your conversational speech on this, and it's second nature to you, just gonna do it instead of typing it.
Right, exactly, yeah. Because I kind of know like what I have to say, and I know how much lenience I get. And if he gets confused, I feel pretty good about being able to guide him back on track.
You're gonna find yourself talking to real people this way.
Yeah, right.
After brainwash.
We make the joke all the time because we do things and we'll have to write something up, and now I'm just like default to like everything's caveman speak, and I can just say, hey AI, make this sound like a real human person would say this, and it does do that. So my speech patterns can become more and more caveman like, and AI can make all my communication front facing. Cool. So we have our QA section, all of our grilling here. So let's take a look. Our QA sections and our grill. So this is going to be all of the questions we were asked and all the answers that we gave verbatim, and even the questions that we didn't get asked, we'll artificially fill in. So
But you agree without ever seeing them.
we agree without ever even seeing them, and we may end up in a pickle because of this, but we'll see. So we went ahead and artificially said yes to everything. So now, if Claude forgets what's going on or forgets our opinion on something, we can point it back to the grill session and say, hey, I think we already talked about this in the grill session, go review it, and he can go do that.
How does it go that where you're keeping your grill session because of the way you're set up your
Just the way I set up my environment, yes sir. And like if you lose track, you can just drag drop into here.
Is that in your cloud, MD file, that is the way you set up your environment, or what are you doing with that?
Yeah.
If you tell it, check my grill session, and it doesn't know what you're talking about, it will literally just go and check search for grill. Project, and it's find the documents that say grill. It'll find it.
Right, yeah.
So we'll go ahead and say, alright, perfect, grill looks great. Let's go ahead and take that grill and turn it into PRD. We'll be keeping this PRD local. We're not going to be doing this in GitHub with any GitHub skills. It's just going to be a local markdown file, just like in docs as the grill sessions and the ADRs have been. So I'm just now asking you to go ahead and create a PRD and keep it local as a markdown file, just like we did the grill session, and we'll see what comes out of it. This is essentially our plan file. So this is everything we talked about. Go ahead and getting it together in a PRD for this feature. Take through that.
So I haven't used this skill framework before. At what point do you start talking about architectural limits? Like, okay, I'm inside of an Azure environment, so I should only be looking at tools that look out here and that kind of stuff. Is that at the PRD portion, or is that back in the requirement session for this?
It's likely back in the requirement session, or it comes up during the grill. PRD, hopefully at the bottom we get PRD, you've already talked about everything we want to talk about. Hopefully. Yeah.
So normally I do a requirement session and then I do a architectural and design session.
That's probably
Separately, and that's why I was wondering, that way my documents are requirements in one, and then I have architectural documentation, and then I have implementation documentation.
Yeah, I think that's really, really strong. Yeah, I mean, the more receipts you come with, like, I've got this all planned out, and then you can use that to say, hey, are we on the same page? The more the better.
Right, and then whenever it does start moving away and you have the research session, you can say, where do we leave off? You can look at what's implemented, go against the documentation, say, okay, let's see what's left, right?
Right, exactly.
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 Because that's the one thing, is remember that anytime that you have a new session, you're starting with a new developer that has to read all the documentation. Yeah, it's not like you're starting with the same developer that just coded something for you. No, it has no idea what's coded unless it goes on.
Cool. So now we're going to go docs PRD here. Alright, so we have our PRD here, and we want to go ahead and read through this and make sure that we are on the same page. This should pretty much represent the feature that we're going to be doing, what we actually went through in Grill, and all the information from the Grill should be in here, and it should be all set up. Again, save on time, I'm not going to read through it and make you guys listen to me read it, but we'll go through and hope that everything's good. But typically you would read it here.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to go from there, and we'll say, PRD looks great. Let's go ahead and set up our tracer bullets, making sure that all issues are organized in nice vertical slices. Using the slash to issues scale. Let's save all the issue files as local markdown files, the same way we did with the QA sections of the PRD.
Can you make it clear to fix that?
That's exactly what this is.
Okay.
It's giving you context that can be used for your tickets or GitHub issues.
Yeah. The scale actually by default, when we use GitHub tools, and it'll open up the issues on your actual GitHub library. And once you resolve them, it'll actually resolve the tickets there. So if you go to your library, you can see like all the issues as they've been resolved and stuff like that too.
Which, interestingly, this is actually, I actually not like that, because at this point, if you're using GitHub Enterprise, and you're actually using Canvas Copilot agents and stuff, you can actually just start assigning these Copilot agents. And you have some of the traceability and stuff to do with the GitHub platform in there. That you don't get with what to do in And then you have to assign a person as well, and that's the person that does the audit review. And so you have the human in the loop there on your audit that you need anything that's regulation. And that's it.
These are pretty nice. You can start to see the slices come together. So in the first slice, this is going to be the lead collection for and persistence leads on home. So this is going to be an AFK branch. That just means that it does not need a human to supervise it in order to do that. It's blocked by nothing, so it can start this slice right now if it wanted to. And what the slice is, the stories that you should be able to tell, all those things. Then our slice 2, you'll be able to scan the badge of the camera. You can see it's also AFK, but it's blocked by slice 1, so slice 1 has to be done first. Here again, AFK, but slice 2 needs to be done first. Slice 4, AFK, but slice 2 needs to be done first, so these two need to be done in parallel. And so on. So here is the dependency shape. Before I write the files, it wants to know, does the granularity look good, the dependencies look good, the merge split look good, anything else, blah, blah, blah. So we'll say, this looks great. This looks great. Let's go ahead and begin implementing each slice, piece by piece, using /TDD. That's going to be our actual testing loop. Make sure you don't make any assumptions and do not blame internet connection or model variance for any issues. Always chase all bugs down to their root cause, debugging and not making any assumptions.
And that's where the experience portion.
We might have
So it did not catch any of it, it ignored you.
Oh, there we go. Did it work? So where does this come from? This comes from the fact that I have used Claude a lot, and I have watched it make assumptions to say this thing doesn't work, but it's because your internet is bad, and I'm going to keep moving. But my internet is hooked up, my internet's not bad, you just made an assumption that things are broken, and you didn't try and debug it. So I'd like you to know, hey, make sure you chase down all those bugs, and we don't just make an assumption that something's not working because of something out of our reach. We want to actually test it and know what's going on.
So are you doing playwright at each granular step or each slice?
Yeah, so we can actually say use, let's just dictate it. Use the playwright MCP to QA test and build QA tests as we go.
So if a bug is introduced, it works through that bug.
Yeah, it'll actually go QA, it'll pull up the playwright, it'll fiddle around the app, pressing buttons and stuff like that, and see how it does.
I got it. Okay.
So let's go ahead and do that.
And sometimes what I actually like to do is have two sessions going that are completely independent of each other. One of them's the QA session and one of them's the coding session.
Oh, yeah.
That's
So
solid.
the code does it, then the QA goes in and it has none of the concept, none of the context of the coding session. Say, go test all of this. And it'll do testing independently that has its findings as a document that I can then say, pull up on the coding side.
That's an interesting concept.
Yeah, so it's a little bit more adversarial.
Right.
So is this actually writing the code? The app?
So here, we just got our docs issues, so now we have all of our local issues here.
Okay.
And now I'm telling it to go ahead and go to the first slice using the TDD. I'm already dangerously close, I'm getting close to the dump zone, so maybe I should have cleared here before telling it to go on the first slice. But let's see what happens.
Why does it say 92% left?
That is how much of my context I have left in the session. So we're going to hit that dump zone around 100K, but I could keep going. It's not going to stop me or try to compact until I hit 1 million.
Does this have anything to do with memory? Like real, I mean,
No, it's with probability.
probability is more probability than memory.
Yeah,
So when they're talking about RAM chips, they're shorter on RAM chips when AI is, so prevalent. The tokens associated anyway?
with the RAM, yes, but with the dumb zone versus smart zone, as the context gets larger, the
Just like
probability of figuring out the next token based on that large chunk of text, your probabilities start getting closer to
Yeah,
that.
just look at
All
it this way.
probability.
Right.
Every
It's
question and answer in this cycle that he walked us through is in a context. He wants one slice of work then to go on its own merry way and do something. And if he got to get rid of a lot of that other ambient information of building up the full context and say, here's just the information you care about for this slice, go execute it. It's got a whole lot less noise to decide if it's relevant for this one small piece of work.
Which is why that two issues portion is so important, because basically think of it, what we just did is a full SDLC, right? We went through requirements, we went all the way down into a design document at this point, and then we had a lead developer break down the design into workable tasks that can be assigned to individual developers. At this point, each of those individual tasks should be able to be assigned to someone that doesn't know everything that happened before,
Yes.
right? But if they know everything that happened before, it might confuse them.
On a large project, the upstream and downstream impacts though have like quite noticeable impact of those things.
Yeah, so that's where that requirement
Yeah.
section becomes even more important in making sure that it gets it right. Just like it does in a traditional SQL.
100K is the threshold.
That's why the code I write's not that great, because I know too much.
Exactly.
My context is.
Too much context.
crowd.
My dump zone's way smaller than 1,000 tokens. It's around like 10 tokens.
Yeah. So after, once you roll that 10 tokens up, you're done. You're done.
Is smart zone, dumb zone, like real terms, industry terms or something?
No, it's not industry terms. I'll say I did hear it first from Matt Oakbach. He's the one that gave the talk and invented these skills. He kind of coined it the smart zone and dumb zone, but it's very accurate as far as what's really happening behind the scenes.
Well, especially for code.
Yeah.
If people are reading this stuff and reading it does become.
Yeah, right.
Now that smart zone, dumb zone changes depending on the area that you're in. So for coding, it's around 100K. But if you're looking at something more on the artistic level, it may be very different. It makes you go way wider for that. In fact, you might actually get smarter as you add more for something.
Because quality smart creators too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that now you're deterministic. It's not as deterministic almost.
Right.
We might want to try something outside of the probability distribution.
Right.
Got it. All about the probability.
That's it.
So he just made sure that local persistence is working, and he opened up Playwright, and we can see there is some persistence here in the after the scan stuff.
So Daryl, I noticed you didn't care about like any code or C# or React or.
I didn't care. Yeah,
Any of those things.
we're writing PyTest in React. I have personally never written React before in my life, so this is the first. So I'm not even sure. I've never written in that either. So
How do you know that it's secure for whatever it's written?
what's that?
How do you know about the security for whatever it's written?
I don't.
That's not my straight. Disclaimer: Daryl does not do that for our organization. He tweaks models and probabilistic things. We have a whole infrastructure satisfying that.
Well, a lot of times you can turn around and say, "Oh, and look at it from a security perspective," and then you go, "Oh yeah, I wrote a whole bunch of shit."
Yeah.
Let me fix that.
Oh, your API keys in here 3 times.
No, we actually have our infrastructure built in a way where it can't write code that will cross multi-tenant barriers. Like it will not compile. So like we make architectural decisions where it can't even land bad kinds of code based off of like how we work with it.
Or at least it limits what the.
So is that built in your skills for PRs and stuff like that? Is that how some of that works through with SaaS contexts?
Well, what do you mean?
So if you're saying you got barriers with your different tenants in a SaaS environment that don't write code that's gonna cross those boundaries, those logical boundaries, like when you check in code, are you running a skill on it?
But like the actual framework that we built, it
Oh,
like requires things that allow you to not mess up multi-tenancy problems. It's like the code itself is architected with a smaller set of choices you can make that doesn't allow the
Okay.
agent to make
Okay, of course
choices
it
that
does.
put you in bad situations violating multi-tenancy.
The reason that I ask that is because that's a point where engineering knowledge still has to be there. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
You have, this isn't a threat, this is a tool for engineers.
Right, exactly. So slice 1 says it's done. Empty state rendered, seeded 2 leads, and reload the page. Page rehydrated, still with 2 leads, data erased. So persistence survives reload. Headline acceptance criterion confirmed on a real browser, so we'll have local persistence. One decision for slice 2, the camera. So slice 2 has a little new pure logic to TDD. We have some of the stuff there already. plus the camera overlay. The wrinkle headless playwright has no real camera, so I can't QA an actual scan the way I QA home. We're not using headless, so that's not a problem. We aren't using headless, so that's not a problem. We can see the interaction in Playwright Live. However, I do agree with A, because we want to get a sense of it with Playwright, but I also want to be able to scan it with my phone to prove it works. And then we'll say, let's actually come back right at that 100K, let's just like this. And we'll just say, you can come back here where we just clear. Actually, let me just say no clear. Because we're moving on to a new. Let's just. I'm just going to clear for it and move forward. So we're not using headless, but I also want to be able to scan it with my phone and prove it works. Move to slice 2 via maintaining all the same disciplines we talked about before verbatim so that they survive compaction. Then clear your history before implementing.
Why did you choose to do it that way instead of slash clear?
Just so I didn't lose a little question it's asking. Yes. Typically, I would just say, okay, before we move to slice 2, we'll slash clear, but you had a little question before we move to slice 2, and I didn't want to lose that question, and then have to rebuild that context and all that stuff. So we're just going to answer it here, and then I'm just letting you know, okay, you're going to clear before we move forward. So hopefully we'll do that, and we'll see us drop from 100K, hopefully back down, much easier.
Why is that always shown on the screen? What I believe I don't see that your token at the bottom on what I use.
Yeah, it's not there by default.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not there by default. Actually, there's a way you can set this up in settings to be able to see like how much time is left in your chat, and then like 5 hours, 7 days, stuff like that.
Got it.
But I didn't actually go into settings to set this up. I actually just told Claude, hey, I see other people with this cool thing. I want it too, and it just went to my settings and did it for me.
There's a slash command, it might be slash dashboard, I don't know.
I think slash call.
Yeah, that's it, slash dash line, that's it.
What is it?
Slash status line.
Slash dash.
So is vibe coding, is that term, was that used before AI?
No, Carpathy, like Andre Carpathy, who led a lot of AI at Tesla, is now in Anthropic, was like, he's the one that they're attributed to kind of deploying it.
But I mean, you're accumulating interaction between multiple developers right now. But you're subbing in AI. What you do before. So if you worked in a team without AI,
You manage developers.
So vibe coding is the phenomenon that we lower the barrier to get complex engineering into motion without regard to the maintainability of that complex engineering. And that's amazing from a capability enhancement to people that only had their words to explain a vision. And now they can explain a vision 1,000 times or more kind of vivid. And that's amazing. But the problem is professional engineers have coined it as a bad word because they think, oh, I can go throw it out there, and now I'm going to ask somebody, hey, engineer, someone's got to be inspiration. You've never thought of this, you've never architected it, I don't even know what React is. And so by coding is the dirty word, but using these same exact mechanisms in responsible ways can take advantage of like all the benefits. And so it's kind of like a play on revive engineering.
Have you ever noticed the arrows on Delta?
It comes up quick.
Oh,
Obviously, I was in smart zone right now.
Daryl was a diesel mechanic 3 years ago.
I was.
Diesel mechanic.
I was. Funny enough, I used to work on Formosa Plastics forklifts.
Okay.
Yep.
Diesel mechanic.
I was a diesel mechanic, yes sir. So,
How long ago?
yeah, probably like 3-4 years ago now. Yeah.
Did you work through Turner or did you work through Asphalt?
I worked for Hug and Law Equipment. It was stock equipment, then became hug and haul equipment. Started off changing oil, and then worked my way up, became diesel mechanic. Worked my way up further, became service admin, service manager, operations manager. Did the whole corporate ladder climb. And decided that hey, I absolutely hate it here. I don't like this. And I'd always been interested in AI, machine learning and stuff.
I mean, there's no path from diesel engineer to AI.
Yeah, not a clear one. Not a clear one.
Actually, it's called opening up on and talking to it until you understood.
Right.
You were a diesel mechanic, you were coding on the side.
Yeah, so while I was a mechanic, I was always interested in like AI, machine learning. I always wanted to learn and stuff like that. So I was kind of coding on the side. I found that there was a boot camp, AI boot camp that was offered. I found it on Facebook. I never coded before, never done anything like that before. Learned how to code a lot with the help of AI that now really helps lower the barriers. If you don't understand something, you'd be like, hey, I don't understand like any of this. I started picking up research papers and reading research papers and saying there was every other word I didn't even know what it meant. And so I could just ask AI, what does this mean? What's the context of this? What does this mean? What's the context of this? And eventually that just like, it snowballs and you can start learning, you can learn faster. So really what AI is bringing to us is the ability to be able to learn faster, be able to ask a million questions without somebody being like, well, all you stop asking so much stuff. And you can get up to speed and learn quick. So yeah, I was a mechanic over the last 2.5, maybe 3 years. I've learned to code, worked my way up. I did some freelancing with computer vision, data science, all those things, and now I'm the head of AI at a local startup. So if I can do it, anybody can do it.
So your experience in this diesel mechanic, you read a lot of documents.
Right.
So that's where you get that skill from. Being able to read so much and comprehend it is because you had to do that in order to work on these sort of things.
That's right.
You realize that?
That's right, yeah. It was funny because I get up to a forklift and I'm like, man, I don't even know how to open this thing. I have this customer standing over me and I asked my boss, hey, what do I do? He's like, Google it. How do I fix this forklift? Customer standing right there, and you're like, it's rough. But yeah, you have to read. You have to read lots of reading. Yeah.
That's
Service
where
manual.
you got that, because I can't do that. I'm too old. So.
He still uses oral sight.
I mean, just honestly, if I get into any sort of question and answer to my job, I can't read more than a couple paragraphs and I want to go work on something.
Yep.
I couldn't read as much as you. It's a whole skill. Is that a whole story? Yeah. Really? I started reading books last night and fell asleep.
Well, that's a book. This is engagement.
Really ruins your brain.
So what we did here was
his own book. Really good forward.
So I'd like to let know, hey, we're going to be clearing the context because look, we've crept into the dumb zone now. We are well within the dumb zone. So we want to go ahead and start over. So another cool little skill here that I did not mention that we have is handoff. It's just a neat little skill that we can use. It's again in that same skills repo. So if you get it, you'll also have this in addition to the grill of docs and all that stuff. And what you can do is essentially it's a skill that tells Claude to craft a nice handoff document for an agent who knows absolutely nothing about what's going on, so that way you don't have to prompt it and get back up to speed and all that stuff. So I just asked it to craft a handoff document, and it has crafted that handoff document, so now I'm safe. So I'll go ahead and call /clear.
What's the difference between a handoff document and a compact?
What's that?
What's the difference between a handoff document and a compact?
Compact, you're keeping a whole lot of information that maybe you don't even want anymore. Yeah.
So every decision's in there instead of just the end result.
Right, exactly.
Handoff is just the end result.
Yeah, exactly. Handoff is like, this is where you need to be able to even start on this problem, whereas compaction is like, here's everything that we talked about in this entire session, and a bunch of it, but yeah, and a bunch of it may not even be useful at this point. So now we've cleared, we're back to 0% context, so let's get them up to speed. We'll say, all right, let's get started on slice 2 via keeping all the same disciplines as before, making sure we debug, and not making any assumptions.
Before you do that,
Yes.
we're coming up on time,
Yep.
so why don't we commit everything?
Yes.
And Kenny said he'd finish it here.
Right, perfect. Cool. And we just keep moving through the slides like that, yeah, guys. And, we just keep doing TDD. I'll push everything here so we can keep working through these issues. So just let's tell Claude to push it. And you go ahead and
So there is a new one called slash roll. Slash roll will put Claude in a loop where it'll just continue going through and iterating. Am I done satisfying this? And just keep going.
And it'll auto-compact if it gets to the right point.
I heard there's something like called the scheduler or something like that in Claude, and you got some type of cron agents that you can start working.
yeah. That was their once OpenClaw came up with it, they were like, we need to do that. So they didn't do it.
You go planning, you got a sprint. 2 weeks from now, is that what y'all do? 1 week. 1 day sprint?
2 weeks sprint for Claude is like an hour. So.
It's doing a lot of work, right?
It's doing an amount, like an insane amount of work. Right, we are pushing things that would have taken us we're doing probably 9-month projects in 2 to 3 months.
Because you're still building, you know,
We're building value.
Now you're still there.
But, yeah, so, I mean, sometimes you're gonna have to sit back and think, well, are we going too fast?
So yes, the rate of thing which needs to be absorbed is very important.
Right. You still have a QA department?
We're 4 people.
You are, you do that.
Yes.
The managers, we got 5 developers, we're a startup too, so.
And we're building our framework to make us operate like we're a lot. Yeah, like, I personally have not contributed to any production projects in 18 months.
That's a good thing.
You know, ever just take a break from the business part and not program, but they'll help with tests and.
I'm working it all the time, I just make sure I'm not in the line of,
So basically, he does the POCs just like EA normally would, and throws it over to people and say, oh yeah, y'all can figure out good job. He does the fun stuff.
so we call them vision sites.
Do y'all use any other tools like Figma has a cool AI tool out there to build UX components and stuff like that? Do you guys use any of those pieces?
So we have a lot of pieces, like we have, what you would imagine is like a traditional storybook style gallery for components. We use some MCPs like UI.sh, we use the front end development skills. We use Claude Design, it's really good.
And a lot of times, if you really just want to train, you can have that conversation with Claude.
It does.
So you have that, and like, if you're having a client meeting, right? You have that conversation with them and Claude at the same time. Tell it only do wireframes with this so that you can see it and make them interact with wireframe, and it'll build you the sketch of it and keep the documentation for you at the same time. That you can then hand off to your developers to refine.
I just got me thinking about what can I use here to speed that up, build documentation.
Yeah, that's a great way, yeah.
So then, transformation, how would I use that?
You can build
Documentation.
You got my brain fire.
I'm glad.
It's gonna be a good story.
That's the mission, that's
That's it. Points to how you're
You did a good job.
Good. When it just work hard, they tell it to document the lineage through the ETL process.
That's good what you got.
So at
I don't wanna write docs.
a personal project level, you know, so I work on a personal level, I work on a work level. But that, when you start to put schemas in and a lot of code and it's proprietary, the Gemini, for example, will allow you, say
say, if it's out of context, it won't store it in memory, for example. It does, I'm sure it does, but it says it will not, and it will keep it private. Like if I'm working on my own Tyler network, everything's private, and I don't have to worry about it, because they say it's private, so I'm good.
Yeah.
But for me personally, in a project world,
Also recommend.
how do I know that this stuff, the schemas are very protected and proprietary in such a way that it's maintained that way?
That's your corporate agreements with whoever you're using.
For sure.
It's my own personal.
You can also use
personal one, like your property.
It's my own personal project for.
The terms and services.
You can also use something like OpenCode.
I have, and I'm just like,
Which is just like an open source Claude code. And you can use essentially whatever model. Like right here, I'm hooked up to OpenRouter. So let's say I wanted to like use Minimax or something. Just do that. Let's swipe Minimax. And I'll just go over to Claude code here, or not Claude code. I'm lost. Open code now, and we'll just say /model.
what are you doing right now?
Here I'm just using open code. So instead of using Claude code, you can use something like open code. And this way you can reach for like OpenRouter, where you can set up like privacy concerns and stuff like that. But you can also actually reach for OLAMA. So if you want, you can actually go like /provider, or is it /? Yeah, connect to providers. And we can say
So I guess the context I was trying to bring up there, working with the local LLM with that type of stuff versus working with the cloud-based LLM.
Yeah, you can keep it to yourself, right? Yeah, with something like OpenCode, you can change the model to use OLAMA, so you can just host OLAMA locally, and then your OpenCode can just use OLAMA instead of using a Claude, and you can get all the same things. So like I still have all the same skills, like I have the Gorilla Docs, I have the TDD, all that stuff inside OpenCode. I say, say hello to the class. And he has all the same skills, playwright and all that stuff.
Wow. What do you say, Justin?
I was just saying, like, Anthropic is not storing your data. Like, they're running the largest companies in the largest world through all the coding tools. And, like, there's an agreement, like, don't train on my data, you can turn off. And, like,
Well, Daryl, if I want to give you guys money and have you come train me in my company, where can I go? Where can I get more information?
That's the man right there.
I think you meant like a website.
Oh, a website? Omni.ai.
Get your plug in.
Here's the plug.
And here's your chance to talk about your pre-con since we're giving away a ticket series, right?
Yes.
Oh, yes, that's right.
And
It's going to be a whole lot more structured than it was today. We'll get into using MCPs, using some custom MCPs. If you want to build MCPs for yourself, we saw here how you can very easily connect those MCPs to Claude. But we're going to be building some custom workflows that you can call with Claude and things like that. So this is going to be really, really fun. Here's our website, omni.ai. You're welcome to go check us out. More importantly, though, it's not the right way.
You want to win a free pass? Yes.
I also have not one, but two 12-month JetBrains licenses, because I need to get them all this, and they'll stop giving me more.